Hello and welcome to another review. This time we're looking at Haspelknecht, the story of early coal mining. A game by Quined Games. It's a 2 to 4 player game, takes about 60 to 90 minutes depending on how good you are at the game and how often you've played it. Age level apparently 12 plus. It is a relatively heavy game, so I would agree with it, or complexity rating 3 out of 5. It's back from 2015. It's quite an old game really, but I do think it still stands up to all the modern games, and it has a very interesting mechanism. It's sort of action selection, but it's also more a matter of selecting tiles that allow you to do actions. But I'll get to that in a minute. Basically, this is the Ruhr Valley in Germany, known for all its coal mining, and you're just at the beginning of the age where they discovered coal near the surface of the earth and started mining this new resource, which turned out to be really useful in heating and for later industries and things like that. Obviously, after a while, once you've finished digging the top up, you then have to go down into deeper pits and dig up coal from there and then bring it up. The name of the game is based on a job position, the Haspelknecht, who was doing all the winching. So once you've emptied all the coal out from here, you replace this area, and now you have the Haspelknecht here, who is basically winching up all the stuff on the ground and winching people down. And this is really the name of the game. So let's go back to how it was set up originally, with the coal in the pinch. The game goes over 3 years, divided into 3 seasons. The last season, the winter phase, is basically a scoring phase, and you also at that point have to pay your duties to the lord of the land, pay them food and money, thaler, at the end of the year, and then it goes round. Each section is divided into basically 2 parts. Some of the years you gain some water, which goes into your pinch or into the pit and will prevent you from digging up coal or even winching it to the top. The interesting mechanism here, though, that I want to talk about, and which I think makes the game interesting, is the market phase, where you select your tokens. And in a 2-player game that I've set up here, you don't see the other player, you have 2 areas to select from. Ignore these 3, these are basically the next 3 that will refill these areas. Each of these have 6 tokens in them, represented in 3 different colors, yellow, black and brown, which convert into food, coal and wood. The wood you obviously use in your pinch and in the pit to shore up the areas you've dug up so it doesn't all collapse. Food you will need to pay your workers and also pay your duties at the end of the year. And coal, the black tokens are basically allowing you to either dig up coal or winch up water or get water out of the pit. And then you place these onto your worker spaces. To start with, you only got 3 worker spaces. The person who digs up the coal here, you can pay 1 yellow token or food or thaler to then do 2 actions. Or you have the farmer, where you can play different colours tokens of whatever type you want, and similarly a farmhand to then allow them to do different things. The interesting mechanism here, though, is you get 2 goes at picking tokens from these areas, one or the other, and you always have to pick all of the same colour, so you can't mix and match. So for example, I could choose to pick all 3 wooden tokens from here, and I place them over there to indicate that's my first draw. My opponent can then do the same. If they in their first action, or I for my first action, draw from this area here, I have to take a water token and put it in my pinch or my pit. So usually try and choose from the other area first. However, sometimes you have no choice. For example, if the other player wanted to get this lovely wood, they might now decide, well, okay, in that case I'm gonna go for food production. There's only 1 token, but there we go, they pick that one. And now it's my go again, and again, now a second go I can pick from here without any penalty. So I might now decide to get 2 black tokens from here, put them on my second space, And you're never allowed to have more than 5 in total between your 2 draws. So if you'd already drawn 5 tokens in your first draw, you couldn't do another draw. If you only had 3 there, I could easily take 2. If for any reasons there had been, say, 3 black tokens in here, I could have only taken 2 of them, but luckily there was no waste there. And my counterpart has only taken 1 yellow token, so they can take another 4, but again, they can only take all of 1 colour, so there isn't 4 yellows or 4 browns or 4 blacks left. So they might say, okay, I'm definitely going to focus on food production, so take the other 2. They end up with 3 for their total picks, 1 on the first and 2 in the second. Now, at this stage, once you've done your draw, you then count up the values of these first draws. So I've taken 3 browns, and you can see the point conversion down here. Black tokens are worth 1, brown are worth 2, and yellow are worth 3. So the second player, the white player in this case actually, has drawn 1 yellow token, which is worth 3 points. I've taken 3 brown tokens, which is worth 6 points. Now I've got more points for the first draw, ignoring whatever was drawn the second time around. And whoever has the most points actually goes last. So we now turn the player order around, and the white player becomes first player, and I'll become second. And we now move into the next phase, where we actually use the tokens we've picked to place on our workers to then carry out action. So in this case, I have no yellow tokens, I can't put anything there, but I could use these 2 workers. So I might decide to put 3 brown there to get lots of wood, and 2 black here to then dig out some coal from the pinch to start with. And then once everyone's decided, and in fact, you can place these all at the same time if you wanted to. You can wait if you want. Once everyone's placed there, we then go and player order to execute this action. So the white player would go first, and then I would go and I would decide to, for example, to convert these into 3 wood, which I put into my farm area. And then these 2 black coal coloured tiles I use to actually dig up 2 coal. So everyone can dig up coal, so I can dig up these 2. And again, they go into my farm area. If it was then finished here, I want to dig up more, you can see you have to place wood tokens, which you can do at any time during the game. So for example, once I've emptied the 3rd one, I could place that there as well. Another use for these tokens is the technology tree for developments, which you see up here. You have to start at the top, the sort of beige area, and work your way down. And the cost of these is indicated up there. So for example, this would cost 1 brown and 1 of any colour, so grey means any colour. So to start with, only a farmer is allowed to do these technology developments indicated by this token there. But there are ways of upgrading, so this one can be upgraded by this one if you place 2 of any colour in there. So I might decide actually to put 2 black. Actually, no, I could do 2 brown there, and now I've wasted a brown because I can't put the brown up here, it has to be of the same colour. I could have put 1 black and 1 brown here to make up these 2, so you can mix for developments, but then that means I'm wasting one of the other. So whichever way I look at it, you can either go for 3 brown or 2 black, and then the farmer could spend these 2 black, for example, to upgrade this person. But obviously you would do this action first, otherwise you would lose the tokens. And then in your next go, you would be able to do these developments with that person as well, with your upgraded farmhand who got nice 3 woods. And this sort of carries on. You actually, sorry, I've done this now, so I put my token there. You can see you get bonus points as well if you're the first player to do this, further down, first or second, third, and so on. Now that I've done that, the next round I could do any adjacent hexes, so I could go this one next or that one and kind of work my way down. Other players can actually leapfrog if they wanted to, so say I've worked all my way down to there, the white player hasn't done anything, they could now decide to immediately do this action, spending their 4 tokens of any colour because they're grey, and plonk theirs on top. But now they have to pay me, in this case, a coal. And even though they're second player, they still get 2 points, so it's probably worth doing, but coal is quite expensive. And so we carry on. Some of these obviously have other benefits all indicated there. I'm not going to go through all of them. And we keep going around the years until the end of the year, at which point We count up all the coal that we've dug up and we've got in our farm. We then pay our duties if we can. If we can't, we get some debt that loses us point near the end. And then we basically have to put our wares into storage because we lose everything that we can't place. So all this lovely wood that I've collected, I can put one of them in here, only one, get 1 point for that. The rest of it has to go. I can't put it in the pinch because I haven't dug up enough yet, so I lose all that lovely wood. And then we start next year getting water and all these get topped up again. And the tokens that we've used basically get thrown in a bag and get randomly drawn to fill up these 3 here first. And then after that, any missing ones, so up to 6, so there's 5 in here, that makes 6, 5 in there, makes 6. And it carries on the same player order as before. And as I say, we do that over 3 years, and at the end of the year, we count our points, we get some bonus points for some of these technologies, and yeah, the person with the most points wins. There's even ways to get additional buildings that we place over there to be able to store more stuff. And so it carries on. So yes, this game is quite heavy. It looks quite complicated. Once you start playing it, it actually gets quite easy and the rounds go quite quickly. I found it quite difficult to explain. I made lots of rules mistakes because there is so much to remember, but I think we've got it now. I'm looking forward to playing it again. But I really love this mechanism here, where you have to think about, okay, do I want lots of food because I need it, but there's only 2 food down here, which means I might gain some water. Do I wait and leave those there and maybe go for 4 black tiles instead, which are worth 4 points, so hopefully not too much. Or do I, do something else, maybe go for less points here? I mean, the 2 brown is actually still also 4. So you have to think about it. You can see what's coming up next, so you might say, well, actually there's some food coming next turn. Maybe I'll wait for that for next year, but then you still have to pay your duty. So it is lots of thinking actually happening at this stage, the sort of market stage as we call it, and you do have to work out what you want to do. I've played it now 3 and 4 player, and I think that's probably the right level. 2 player is probably a bit too light, but you can play it 2 4 players, and yes, it's definitely great fun to play. Quite a heavy game, as I say, but great fun. So this is my review of Haspelknecht by Quined Games. First of all, I would like to thank you for watching, and then if you want to, please subscribe, like and comment below as well. And then you can also check out my blog and my Twitter feed. If you like this video or my blog or the stuff I do, please look at my Patreon. Again, links in the description of this video.